Sir, you're mute.
Oh my God. Oh.
Sir, I put it in
Okay.
the chat box also, but you didn't see it only in time.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Sir, I put it in the chat box too.
The chat box, na, this it does not show me that notification only anymore. So that chat box, I can't see it anymore. Anyways, chalo, let's.
That's the new update, sir. Sadly.
Yeah, the last update it just spoiled it all. Anyways, so once again, so we are going to see the next one, that is the third ventricle. Okay, so I'm going to show you once again this angle, how it is going to be like. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so now see once again from this angle. Okay, so now let's say we are looking at it from the back of the head. Okay, from the back of the head, you're going to see one ventricle out over here. We have the second ventricle out over here. Okay, now then we are going to have the foramen of Monro. Okay, so we are going to see these small tube-like structures. Okay, these are nothing but your connections basically. Okay, so what are these connections? These are nothing but foramen Monro. Okay, now always remember, guys, foramen means what? Foramen means a small opening. Okay, so like we have said, at the back of the skull, there is a nice small opening for the entire spine to go down. That is foramen magnum. Okay, this is a small opening. This is known as foramen Monro. Okay, fine. But now what happens, guys? These are now going to meet the third ventricle. Okay, and the third ventricle, let's say the third ventricle is going to appear somewhat like this. Okay, now this third ventricle inside, once again, guys, we are going to see the CSF only. It is completely filled with CSF. But now the top part of the third ventricle. Okay, so now let's see this part. Okay, and guys, very important from the knee point of view. This top portion, guys, this top part, this is called as your pallium. Okay, pallium, anterior choroid plexus. Okay, so the top part, this is known as anterior choroid plexus. So guys, if you remember when we talked about your CSF, we said who is going to produce your CSF? It is going to be the ependymal cells and the anterior choroid plexus. Okay, so guys, this is that anterior choroid plexus. This is the top of the third ventricle. Okay, but now this anterior choroid plexus, okay, we can just say that how is it anterior choroid plexus connected to the first and the second ventricle? It is going to be through your foramen of Monro. So I'll just say that this is connected to the first and the second ventricle. That is it. Okay, and how is it? It is going to be with the help of your foramen Monro. That is what we need to know. Okay, but now guys, we need to move into the details of it. Like we need to see what is your epithalamus going to be, what is your thalami going to be, and what is your hypothalamus going to be like. Okay, so slowly, let's try to move into your epithalamus first, guys. Okay, so okay, so now guys, when we talk about epithalamus, okay, so what is this epithalamus? You guys once again have a look at this thing. See, this is that box-like structure. This is the upper portion, which is going to be your epithalamus. Okay, so guys, epithalamus basically this is nothing but it is the top part of your diencephalon. Okay. Second thing, guys, when we see that when we talk about this epithalamus, okay, so once again, let me just show you. Okay, let's imagine this was the epithalamus. Okay, then we had the thalami on the sides, this, okay, and then on the bottom side, we were having your hypothalamus. Now, guys, what have we said? That from the epithalamus on the upward side, you're going to see a small projection out over here, like this. Okay, so we have this small projection, and what is this, guys? This is nothing but your pineal gland. This is our pineal gland. So once again, here we need to know that this is going to show us an upward projection. That is nothing but a pineal gland. But now, guys, you know what? Here, when we talk about the epithalamus, Okay, the epithalamus and the pineal gland, they are responsible for producing few things, producing certain secretion. Okay, so what are the secretions that are present? Let's try to see. Okay, so there are two major secretions that we are going to look at. Guys, the first one we are going to have is serotonin. Okay, so serotonin, guys, this is the one which is going to give you that feel good kind of feeling. Then it is going to make you a little tired also. Okay, so something of that sort. So we have this serotonin. And guys, serotonin, always remember, this is going to control your metabolic activities. Okay, and the second one, guys, after your serotonin, we have melatonin. Okay, so guys, if you remember, I had already told you in your hormonal coordination that, see, when we talked about the pituitary, the middle part of the pituitary is not working for us. The intermediate lobe is not working for us, but for lower organism, it is responsible for giving them skin color. But who is actually responsible for giving us our skin color, guys? At that time, we had said it was the pineal gland. Why? Because pineal gland produces your melatonin. Melatonin, basically, this is nothing but it is going to help in the formation of your melanin, and this ultimately gives us our skin color. So that way, this is what we need to know with regards to your epithalamus. That's it, guys. Okay. Second one, guys, we have the thalami. Thalami meaning thalamus. There are two thalamus basically, so that is why thalami. Okay, so I will just say that these thalami, these are nothing but two lateral walls. Okay, and these two lateral walls, guys, these are going to be connecting. Okay, so these connect. Okay, the epithalamus and the hypothalamus. Okay, so these connect the epithalamus and the hypothalamus. But then how are they going to meet? Guys, very, very important. Once again, from the need point of view, the most important thing. These are going to be connected together by habencular commissure. They are connected together by habencular commissure. Okay, this is one of the most important commissures. Okay, we had said who's the largest commissure? The longitudinal commissure. Okay, of the brain. That is, the one which is running through your in between your, the cerebrum. That is the longest one. This is another important commissure, habencular commissure. Okay, but now, guys, one very important thing that you're going to see in this, and that is nothing but a RAS system. Okay, what is this RAS system, guys? This is nothing but reticular activating system. That is a RAS system. Okay, but now what is this reticular activating system going to do? Guys, this is going to connect, okay, all the parts of the brain. Okay, so basically what happens is, guys, this connects this basically the thalamus. So it connects this, that is the thalamus, to all the parts of the brain. Okay, and one of the most important thing, guys, is that whatever senses, okay, whatever senses that have to go through the brain, they have to pass through this RAS system, guys, except for the sense of smell that is in your temporal lobe. Okay, so all senses, I'll just mention all senses have to pass through it except the sense of smell. Rest everything I can pass through it, guys. That's it. That is what we need to know with regards to your thalamus. Okay. And lastly, now, guys, we are going to have your hypothalamus. So let's try to see what is going to happen with regards to hypothalamus. Now, guys, as like all the three things together, okay, they will ask you a short note, write a short note on diencephalon. If they ask you, this is always going to come for 4 marks. Okay. And now individual, they can ask you for 2 marks, okay, that way. But now, if we talk about the third one, hypothalamus, individually, this can be asked for 3 marks or it can be asked for 2 marks. Okay, but now, guys, what is this hypothalamus? We can just say that this is nothing but this is the base of your diencephalon. Okay, fine. This is the base of diencephalon. But now, just like that, see here, we had this upward projection. Upward projection was your pineal gland. But same way, guys, from this thing, we are also going to have a downward projection. And this downward projection, what was this? This is our pituitary gland. Okay, so that was our pituitary gland. So let's go down out over here. So here, this is going to show us. That is pituitary gland. Okay, but now, guys, okay, here in your hypothalamus, guys, you are going to see something, one more thing, which is very important. Now, we've already mentioned about this thing in your hormonal coordination. Okay, guys, one of the most important thing that you will experience out of here is your egg-shaped optic chiasma. Okay, which is going to be right at the start. Okay, right at the start of your hypothalamus. Egg-shaped optic chiasma. And now, guys, what happens at this egg-shaped optic chiasma? As I said, first of all, this is going to be in the anterior part, okay, on the front side. Okay, and what happens exactly out over here, guys? You are going to see that the optic nerves cross over one another. Okay, so okay, okay, so this is what we need to know with regards to your hypothalamus. But now, guys, let's try to see what is the importance of hypothalamus, guys. Very, very important thing. Okay, so if we talk about the importance, guys, first one, guys, your hypothalamus is the seat of thermoregulation, meaning this is the one which helps to maintain your heat and temperature of the body. So this is responsible for maintaining heat and temperature. So we say that this is responsible for thermoregulation. Okay. Second thing, guys, this is also responsible for your sleep and wake up pattern. Okay, so even that is there. Third thing, guys, your hunger and thirst. This is also going to be taken care by your hypothalamus. Fourth thing, guys, this is going to control your pituitary. Okay, and finally, guys, okay, this, like we have said in your hormonal coordination, guys, this is the one which also produces your neurohormones. Okay, guys, what have we said? These neurohormones, these are now going to be produced by this and they're going to be stored into your posterior pituitary. Okay, so these are nothing but basically your stimulating factors and inhibiting factors, guys. So stimulating factors. Okay, or we can also say there are inhibiting factors. So both of these guys. So both of these are going to be there. Okay, now another important thing, guys, hypothalamus. Okay, now once again, this thing has been asked in your NEET exams over and over again, guys. Okay, hypothalamus is always going to show you the presence of some cytons. Okay, it shows presence of cytons. And guys, these cytons, what we call them? We call them as hypothalamic nuclei. Okay, these are known as hypothalamic nuclei. Okay, and when we talk about its action also, guys, always remember what is this Hypothalamus, this is actually the mediator between the nervous system and the endocrine system. Okay, so if you remember when we talked about the pituitary, we had said pituitary is nothing but he is, the coordinator of your endocrine orchestra. But this one, this is nothing but he is the actual mediator between two different systems, nervous system and your endocrine system, guys. Okay, so that is it. That is it what we need to know with regards to your epithalamus, thalamus, and your hypothalamus. But now, guys, let's just put down functions of your diencephalon as such. See, individually, we have seen what are the functions, but functions of diencephalon all together. Okay, all together as such. So first thing, guys, because you know it is going to have the RAS system, all the the senses are going to go from there. So that is why we say this is nothing but a relay center. This is going to act as a relay center for motor and sensory functions. Okay, because of the RAS system. And second thing, guys, because this is the one, okay, it's going to, like the hypothalamus is going to take care of the heat and temperature, sleep and wake up, hunger and thirst. Like it controls your pituitary. Pituitary also helps to maintain, like, your osmoregulation and homeostasis. So this also helps to maintain homeostasis. What is homeostasis? Once again, guys, this is nothing but steady state of the body. Okay, so this is also going to be the steady state of the body. So this is also, we say that this is nothing but the function of your diencephalon. Okay, so guys, this is it. This is what we need to know with regards to your entire diencephalon. Okay, so once again, guys, just have a look, just see if you guys are okay with this thing. Okay, quickly just browse through this. Okay, because then we are going to go into your midbrain, guys. Okay, just have a look, guys. Okay, any doubts, anyone, guys? Okay, there is one question out over here. Uh, what is the difference between dopamine and serotonin? Okay, now see, basically, when we talk about dopamine, okay, dopamine is like, when you establish something, like, or, generally we say that dopamine is released on rewards. Okay, so that way. So when you win something or when you complete a task, that is dopamine. Okay, serotonin is the one which is going to give you the feel good kind of a effect, basically. Like, if you, like, let's say you are working out. After working out, it gives you the good feeling kind of thing. Also, we have said that, even after, like, having sexual intercourse, you're going to release serotonin. Yes, 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 absolutely right. Okay, so basically that way. Also, when we talk about smoking, okay, so when you smoke, it gives you that, stress relief kind of thing. That is dopamine. So working out or this thing, that will be serotonin. But then, when you do something, so for example, I'll tell you one of the most important things. Like, generally, like, guys, you get addicted to video games and all. Okay, so, oh my god, I want to clear this level, I want to clear this level. Guys, you are constantly fighting for that level. At that time, when you clear off the level, who is going to be that, the one who is going to give that good feeling? It is your dopamine. Okay, so, and that is how it is going to be different. Okay, all right. Sure. Okay, so now, guys, let's try to move on to the next one, guys. Okay, so the next one after this, we have your midbrain. So let's see how is your midbrain, what is going to happen out over there. Okay, so now, guys, after this, we move on to your midbrain. Okay, and now this is like really, really important. Okay, so let's see how this midbrain is. Okay, so now, guys, where is this midbrain actually going to be located? So to give you the location, guys, okay, so see here, okay, there is one minute. Ah. So the midbrain is going to be somewhere right out over here, guys. Okay, so somewhere in this position. Okay, in here it is going to be somewhere in this position, guys. Okay, it's a very small thing, kind of a thing, but it will be present somewhere right out over there. So let me just show you, guys. Okay, let me just show you how it is going to be like. Okay, so just to tell you the location, guys, this is the one which is going to be located between your diencephalon. It is located between your diencephalon and the second thing, that is your pons and pons varolii. Okay, so that way. And guys, what is this midbrain going to also do? Guys, the midbrain, it connects the third and the fourth ventricle. Okay, it connects the third and the fourth ventricles. Okay, and how is it going to connect, guys? It is going to connect by a duct which is called as iter. It is going to connect by a duct called as iter. Okay, so let me just show you how is this midbrain really going to be like. Okay, sure. So let me just show you. Okay, yes. Okay, so see, this is how our brain is going to be like, right? Now we have already said here you are going to have your epithalamus, then we are going to have your thalamus, okay, and then we are going to have the hypothalamus, like this. Okay, now here on this side we are going to have the pineal gland, and from here we are going to have the pituitary gland. Now what happens, see, and right inside out over here, guys, we had said that diocele is also going to be present right out over here only in this thing. Now what is going to happen? From here, guys, you are going to see this channel which is going to come down like this. Okay, and what is this channel, guys? This channel is nothing but your iter. Okay, so always remember this is going to be nothing but your iter. Okay, so this is iter. And what is this going to do, guys? This is going to connect it to the fourth ventricle out over here. Okay, so the fourth ventricle, something out over here, like this. Okay, but now, guys, what are you going to see? Now, on this thing, okay, this channel or something, whatever you are seeing, guys, you are going to see some rounded bodies. Okay, so what are we going to have? So you're going to have two pairs of rounded bodies like this. Okay, these two pairs of rounded bodies, guys, these are actually together called as your corpora quadrigemina. Okay, together we call them as corpora quadrigemina. But see, the upper ones, we call them the upper ones as superior colliculi. Guys, superior colliculi. Okay, this is not folliculi. Folliculi, where have we seen folliculi? Guys, it was in your, guys, where did we see folliculi? It was in your ovum. Okay, basically your ovum and the ovaries, that is folliculi. These are going to be superior colliculi, guys. Okay, understand the difference. Superior colliculi, and this is going to be your inferior colliculi. So superior colliculi and inferior colliculi. Okay, together, what did we say? What are we going to call this thing? Because there are four bodies out over here, we are going to call them as your corpora quadrigemina. Okay. So corpora quadrigemina. Okay, but now along with this, guys, now what are you going to see? You're also going to see that there are going to be these fiber-like things which are going to be running like this. These fiber-like things, guys, these are called as your crura cerebri. Crura cerebri. And guys, together, the corpora quadrigemina and crura cerebri, they are going to help form the midbrain. Okay, everybody all right with this thing, guys? Sure, getting this thing? Okay, now let me just show you, guys. Let me just show you how this is going to look like in the real life. So let me just take a few pictures. Okay, so guys, let's have a look out over here. See, I told you it is going to be a very small part, midbrain. Okay, so see, this is once again your corpus callosum, guys. This is your corpus callosum. Okay, like this. Then here we are going to have the epithalamus, the thalamus, and the hypothalamus. Okay, now here at the back side, guys, see here, this portion is nothing but your this thing, the midbrain. And see, when you zoom in into this, guys, so when you zoomed in into this, we are going to see corpora quadrigemina. So you are going to have this thing. So see, first one, we have two ovoid bodies kind of thing like this, right? So what are these? These are your superior colliculi. These are your inferior colliculi. And then there are going to be bands which are going to be running, which is going to be your crura cerebri. Okay, that is nothing but band of your nerve fibers, guys. Okay, now let me show you some other pictures also so that you know this entire location is clear. Okay, so see, from another angle, you are going to see it this way. Guys, once again, see, right out over here. See, this is going to be your superior colliculi. And this is going to be your inferior colliculi. Like this. That is going to be your, once again, corpora quadrigemina. Once again, guys, I'll show you one more way in which you can see this thing. So that everything is all right. Okay, so guys, once again, so you are going to have, see here, okay, the superior colliculi. Here, this is your superior colliculi, and this is your inferior colliculi, guys. Okay, superior colliculi, inferior colliculi. This is how it is going to be like. Okay, so I hope the positioning is clear with everyone. Okay, now guys, when we talked about your third ventricle, okay, we had said the top portion of the third ventricle that is called as your anterior choroid plexus. Okay, but here when we talk about the fourth ventricle, guys, there we are going to see one more, and that is called as your posterior choroid plexus. Okay, so just keep this thing in mind. Okay, anterior choroid plexus and posterior choroid plexus. This is going to be in the fourth ventricle. That way. Okay, everybody all right with this thing? Sure, no problem, no issues. Okay, now let's try to go back and let's try to talk a little bit more in detail. Who is going to do what kind of job over here? Okay, so once again, we are in our midbrain. Okay, and midbrain, guys, once again, I told you we are going to have your corpora quadrigemina. And the second one, we are going to have crura cerebri. Okay, but now once again, first we'll focus our attention on corpora quadrigemina. Now, guys, here we have your superior colliculi. Okay, and the second one, inferior colliculi. Now, guys, what are these going to do? Basically, your corpora quadrigemina, this is going to respond to impulses coming from the outside, and then it is going to be basically your visual and your hearing responses. That is what this is going to control. But then who's going to control the eye reflexes and who's going to control the ear reflexes? Let's try to see. Okay, so inferior and superior colliculi. Okay, so now guys, when we talk about the superior colliculi is the one who is going to move your head. Okay, it moves your head with respect to your visual stimulus. So guys, let's say tomorrow I take a stone and I throw it at you, no matter whoever I am. I'm not sure, I'm sure that you're not going to take that stone onto your face. What is your reaction going to be? Immediately you are going to duck, you're going to move your neck, or you're going to just sit down. Guys, this reflex, who's going to give it to you? It is because of your superior colliculi. Okay, so it moves the head and the neck with respect to visual stimulus. Okay, so that way. So this is very important. Okay, but now when we talk about this inferior colliculi, guys, now what is this going to control? This is going to move your head. Okay, so this is the one which moves the head and the neck, guys, with respect to your audio stimulus, guys. Okay, with respect to auditory stimulus. Okay, now how is that going to be possible? Yes, let's try to see. Okay, now guys, let's say you're walking on the road. Okay, you're walking on the road, and suddenly, guys, suddenly somebody says, "Hey, hero." The moment somebody says, "Hey, hero," guys, what are you going to do? Immediately, you are going to look back and you're going to see who's calling. But did that person take your name? No, nobody took your name. But then what is that? Guys, that is nothing but your response, okay, to your hearing. And that is done by your inferior colliculi. Remember, superior colliculi, this is the upper one. inferior colliculi, this is the lower one. Okay, so this you need to remember. Always remember first eyes, then ears. If you remember it that way, you will never forget superior and inferior colliculus function. Okay, fine. Chalo, let's try to move on to the next one, that is your crura cerebri. Okay, chalo. So now when we talk about crura cerebri, I told you this is nothing but a band of nerve fibers. So here we are going to have this as a band of nerve fibers. Okay, and what is this? What is the job of this? This is the one, guys. This is going to connect everything, almost everything. It connects the cerebrum, okay, plus the cerebellum, okay, plus it is also going to connect them to the pons and the medulla oblongata. So it almost connects everything out over there, guys. Okay, so very, very important. Okay, that is crura cerebri. And guys, once again, see how we had the RAS system in your, see here, diencephalon, we had talked about the RAS system, right? In the thalami. Guys, same way here also you are going to see the RAS system. So this also shows reticular activating system. And guys, this reticular activating system, why is this for? This is the one for muscle toning, meaning to give your muscles a proper definition, how they look, how they are going to have their shape. So that is muscle toning. That's it. That is what we need to know with regards to your entire midbrain, guys. Okay, so once again, just have a look if everybody is all right, and then we can move ahead with the next part. Here in this thing, we haven't drawn crura cerebri. Okay, so crura cerebri is nothing but they are going to be band of your fibers. So if you want, see, these are your crura cerebri. This way. This is crura cerebri. Okay, chalo, everybody all right? Fine, let's try to move ahead. Okay, chalo. So now guys, after this, we have to go into the hindbrain. So let's see what is this hindbrain going to be like. Okay, so now we are in our hindbrain, guys. Okay, so the forebrain is done, the midbrain is done, we are into hindbrain. What is this hindbrain also called as, guys? This is your rhombencephalon. This is rhombencephalon. And guys, one of the most important thing, what is this going to show you? This shows the fourth ventricle. Okay, so just keep this in mind. Plus, one more thing, we are going to see in the fourth ventricle, the posterior choroid plexus. Okay, so third ventricle, anterior choroid plexus, fourth ventricle, posterior choroid plexus. Okay, but now let's try to see what is this hindbrain divided into. Okay, so your hindbrain is also going to be divided into your three parts. Okay, so what is this, guys? First, there is going to be your cerebellum. Okay, fine. Second one, we have pons varolii. Okay, and third one, guys, we are going to have your medulla oblongata. Okay, so now let's try to see this thing one by one, guys. How is it going to be? Now, guys, whenever you talk about your cerebellum, okay, always remember whatever we have done for cerebrum, guys, exactly the same points we need to follow for cerebellum as well. Okay, so let's try to see. So, guys, first of all, when we talked about your cerebrum, what did we say? Cerebrum was the largest part. So, first we'll talk about your cerebellum. So, cerebellum is nothing but it is a small part of the brain. Okay, and if we talk about how much percent is it going to be, it is going to be 11%. Okay, where is this going to be present, guys? This is the one which is going to be present hanging below the cerebrum. Okay, it is a small part present below the cerebrum. Okay, now guys, when we talked about cerebrum, how was the cerebrum divided? The cerebrum was divided into two parts, right? That is your cerebral hemispheres. Same way, your cerebellum, this is also going to be divided into two parts. Okay, but now what are these parts called? These are called as your cerebellar hemispheres. Okay, fine. But now, how are these cerebellar hemispheres joined? See, when we talked about cerebral hemispheres, they were joined together by corpus callosum. Here, cerebellar hemispheres, they are joined together by pons varolii. Joined together by pons varolii. Okay, fine. Now, guys, when we talk about your cerebrum showed gyri and sulci. Here also, this is going to show you gyri and sulci once again. Okay, but now actually, in your lower standards and all, you must have come that, rather than gyri and sulci, it shows you furrows, deep furrows. Okay, so generally we actually tend to stick to that only. But, this year's textbook, it is saying that no, it has to show you your gyri and sulci only. So we'll go by your textbook. Okay, so it is going to show you your gyri and sulci. Fine. But now, once again, guys, we had said, your cerebrum, okay, it had your cerebral cortex and it had cerebral medulla, right? So here also we are going to see that we have cerebellar cortex and we are also going to have cerebellar medulla. Okay, but now guys, cerebral cortex, we had said it was gray in color. So it shows us gray matter. Same way guys, here also cerebellar cortex, it is going to be gray in color. And that is why we say that this is going to be made up of your gray matter. And guys, what is the reasoning behind it, guys? This is nothing but, it is going to show you your cytons. Okay, then the next thing is we have cerebral medulla. Cerebral medulla shows axons and it is going to be white matter. Cerebellar medulla, once again, the same thing, guys. It is going to show you your white matter. Okay, so exactly the same thing we are seeing. Okay, but now, guys, let me just show you. Okay, so let's imagine this is your cerebellum. Okay, now there is one very important thing that you're going to see. Now, see, actually, you are going to see like, deep furrows kind of thing, guys. Okay, so you tend to see these deep furrows. Okay, But now, guys, these furrows, they are going to be arranged in such a manner, okay, that the inside part, okay, the inside part, guys, you start seeing it like a tree pattern. So here, it gives you a nice tree-like pattern. And guys, what is this tree-like pattern called? This tree-like pattern, we call this thing as Arborvitae. This is known as Arborvitae. Okay, or guys, we call this thing as tree-like pattern. Maybe there's something happened out over here. Second. Okay, anyways, chalo. Okay, so this Arborvitae is nothing but your tree-like pattern. Okay, that's it. That is what we need to know with regards to your cerebellum, guys. Okay, but now if we talk about the functions, what are the functions of your cerebellum? Guys, you need to remember cerebellum as BMC. You just need to remember as BMC. Guys, what do I mean by BMC? B means body balance. This is going to show you body balance. And second thing, it is going to show you muscular coordination. Body balance and muscular coordination. Okay, but now guys, okay, one thing again, very important. If you consume something, okay, if you consume this product, guys, suddenly your body balance and muscular coordination is completely off. And what is that, guys? It is your alcohol. Because see, guys, if you have ever seen, these drunkards, they are like, constantly swinging left, right, left, right, left, right. Why? Because alcohol inhibits cerebellum, guys. Alcohol inhibits the activity of cerebellum. And now, if the cerebellum stops functioning, body balance and muscular coordination cannot work. Immediately, you start swaying like a grass. That way. Okay, so this is what we need to know with regards to your cerebellum. Really, really nice and simple. Okay, but now we have the pons. Okay, so where exactly is the pons, guys? Okay, so let me just go back out over here. Okay, so guys, if we look at this diagram, okay, so let me, if I have to show you, okay, so your cerebellum would be out over here like this, okay, somewhere out over here. Here is going to be your pons. And then after your pons, you are going to have the medulla oblongata this way. This is how the structure would be like, okay? Okay, so now let's try to see pons varoli. Where is it going to be exactly? Okay, so guys, pons varoli, we will say this is going to be present below the cerebrum. Okay, now guys, remember this thing. It is going to be present below the cerebrum, in front of your cerebellum, below cerebrum, in front of your cerebellum. Okay, and on top of medulla oblongata. Okay, on top of your medulla oblongata, that way. But now, guys, very, very important. See, here we had said outside, guys, outside the cortex was gray matter, inside white matter. But as we move into your pons, guys, the situation changes. Immediately, you will see now here, from here onwards, outside it is going to be white matter, and inside it is going to be your gray matter. Outside white matter, inside gray matter. That's it. Okay. And now if we talk about the functions, guys, let's try to say what are the functions of pons varoli. First of all, This is the one who's going to connect your cerebellum to your medulla oblongata. Okay, cerebellum, cerebrum, everything. Okay, so okay, connects cerebrum, okay, cerebellum to medulla oblongata. Okay, and guys, the second thing, because it is in front of your cerebellum, what is between the two cerebellar hemispheres? Between the two cerebellar hemispheres. That's it. That is what we need to know. Okay. So one more moment. Let me just show you. I have one picture which I can show it to you here. Okay. So guys, see here. If we see this thing, okay. So see here is your entire cerebellum. See, I told you it is going to show you this tree-like pattern. See, this tree-like pattern is your Arborvitae, guys. Okay, so this is Arborvitae. Okay, and now here we are going to see the pons. See, this entire thing, guys, this is going to be in front, right? So this is going to be your pons veruli. And pons is then going to give rise to your medulla oblongata. Okay, everybody all right with this thing, guys? Sure, understood this part? Okay, and lastly, guys, now we'll move on to the last one, that is medulla oblongata. So let's see how is this medulla oblongata going to be. Okay, so very simple, medulla oblongata. Okay, so guys, where is medulla oblongata? See, right now I've just shown you in this diagram itself, it is going to be below the pons. Okay, it is exactly below the pons. So, okay, so this is the one which is going to be below your pons. Second thing, guys, what is this going to give rise to? This gives rise to your spinal cord later on. Okay, so gives rise to spinal cord. But now, once again, guys, here they are going to ask you the arrangement of neurons. So once again, guys, outside it is going to be your white matter. Okay, outside white matter, inside gray matter. Okay, very important, guys. They will always ask you this thing. Okay, state the arrangement of neurons in the cerebrum, cerebellum, pons, medulla, and spinal cord. Okay, so very important, guys. Okay, then after this, guys, now what are the functions of your medulla oblongata? So guys, functions, you just need to remember it as verb. Okay, one thing, this is the one which controls all involuntary activities. It controls all the involuntary activities. Like what, guys? Like I said, verb. Verb means what? We have beating of the heart. Beating of the heart, respiration, and peristalsis. Okay, and that is why, guys, every time, okay, if by any chance there is any kind of injury or damage to the medulla oblongata, it immediately results into the death of the person. Why? Because medulla controls all the important vital activities of the body, like beating of the heart, respiration, and peristalsis. This is generally asked as give reason to you. Okay, but now, guys, apart from this, medulla oblongata is also going to act as a center for other things as well. So you are going to see that this acts as a semi-voluntary activities, center for semi-voluntary activities. And activities like what, guys? Sneezing, coughing. You're also going to have vomiting. We call these centers as non-vital centers. Okay, and guys, from your medulla oblongata, now we're going to do this thing a little ahead, guys, but I'll just, because we have come out over here, we'll just say that from here, see, from your entire brain, there are actually 12 pairs of cranial nerves which come. Okay, out of those 12 pairs, guys, 8 pairs of cranial nerves, they arise from the medulla oblongata itself. Okay, 8 pairs of cranial nerves. That's it. And that is what we need to know with regards to your entire brain, guys, entire thing. So once again, just have a look, guys, see if everybody is okay with this. And with this, we are finally done with the brain part. Okay, so just have a look, see if everybody is all right. Any doubts? Anybody wishes to ask anything? Whose location you did not get? Whose location exactly? I did not get. Whose location you did not understand? Pons and medulla. Okay, fine, no issues. Okay, so I will have to draw that entire brain again. I had just shown the brain stem in this diagram. Okay, so see, once again, let's imagine this is your cerebrum. Okay, so this is our cerebrum, and then we had said it is going to be like this. This is your cerebellum. Okay, so we have cerebrum. This is the largest part. We have the cerebellum. In front of cerebellum. Now, what are we going to see? See, I told you there is going to be this pons. Okay, so here you are going to have the pons like this. This is pons. And then from the pons, okay, you are now going to see that, here, whatever this small inverted triangle part that is there, that is your medulla oblongata. And this medulla oblongata, later on, it travels down as your spinal cord. Okay, so same way, let's look out over here. So if you see the zoomed in version, you will see here is your cerebellum. In front of the cerebellum, we have the pons. Below the pons, we have medulla oblongata. And if I continue this thing, it will give rise to your spinal cord. Okay, guys, always remember in your exams, they always ask you what is the arrangement of neurons. Okay, so this part is very important. Who is outside, who is inside? Okay, always asked, guys. Okay, is everybody all right with this thing? Guys, kindly answer. If everybody is okay with this, then we can take a break out over here for 5 minutes. Then we can continue. Okay, chalo. So guys, what we'll do, we'll break over here for 5 minutes or so. Okay, and then we'll continue with the next part. Next, we're going to see your the spinal cord. Okay, and we have to see everything related to the spinal cord. Okay, so just take a 5 minutes break and then we continue. Okay, chalo. So guys, let's move ahead. Okay. One minute, huh? I'm not able to reply. Oh, okay. Okay, chalo. So now guys, let's try to move ahead and let's try to see the next part. Okay, so now we are completely done with the brain. Now we have to move into the spinal cord. Okay, so let's try to see how is the spinal cord going to be like. Guys, always you need to remember that the spinal cord is going to arise from the medulla oblongata only. Okay, so this medulla oblongata slowly is going to come down and it is going to run through your vertebral column. Okay, so let's try to see how is that going to happen and so on and so forth. Okay, so now the spinal cord. Okay, so guys, first of all, like I said, you know what is spinal cord? Spinal cord is nothing but it is your extension. This is nothing but just your extension of medulla oblongata. Okay, and now how long is this thing going to be, guys? Roughly around 40 to 45 centimeters long. Okay, how and where is it going to be? It is going to go up till your second lumbar vertebrae. Okay, we will talk about this thing. Okay, and then if you look at the thickness, guys, how thick is this thing going to be? It is going to be 2 centimeters thick. Okay, so once again, guys, let me just show you. So let's say this is our brain, guys. Okay, so this was your medulla oblongata. See, this is your cerebellum. Okay, and from the medulla oblongata, now you're going to see that, oh, this is going to run down like this, and it is going to give rise to your spinal cord. Okay, if we talk about the length, once again, guys, this length, this is going to be roughly around 40 to 45 centimeters. And if we talk about the width or the thickness, this is going to be your 2 centimeters. Okay, but now how is it going to be present? Okay, let's try to see this thing, guys. Okay, so if you look at this thing, this is going to be located inside the vertebral column. See, I told you, okay, it is going to be located inside the vertebral column. But now, guys, inside the vertebral column, the space through which it is moving, that is known as the neural canal. So we say the vertebral column runs through the neural canal of the vertebral column. Okay, so let's try to see, okay, how it is going to be. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a top view, like meaning you are sitting on the top of the head and you're looking down. Let's imagine how it is going to be, guys. Okay, so let's imagine you are going to have the spinal cord. Okay, so let's say this is your spinal cord. Okay, I told you this spinal cord is going to run through your vertebral column. So let's imagine this is your vertebral column. Okay, so something like this here also, this. These are your vertebrae. Let's imagine. Okay, so different vertebrae have different shapes. We've already done that thing. Okay, so let's say these are your vertebrae. Okay, so now, guys, this is your vertebra. Okay, inside the vertebra, see this hollow space that you're seeing, guys. This hollow space, this is our neural canal. That is neural canal. Inside the neural canal, guys, now we are going to have the spinal cord. Okay, and now inside the spinal cord, guys, there is going to be one more canal which is going to be running through its center. And that center, guys, that canal, this is called as the central canal. That is known as central canal. And guys, this central canal, inside of it, it has the CSF, okay, which is continuous with the ventricles of the brain, guys. Okay, so that way. So that is CSF. Everybody okay with the arrangement, guys? So is everybody clear how we are seeing this thing? Okay, first we have the vertebra that is on the outer side, the hollow space of the vertebra, we call it as a neural canal. Inside that, we are going to have the spinal cord. Inside the spinal cord, guys, we are going to have the central canal. Okay, a central canal is then going to house your CSF. Okay, just to show you guys how this would really look like, let me just show it to you. See. This is how we are talking about. Okay, so see, first of all, this is the vertebra. Okay, the vertebrae. Inside this hollow space, if you see, guys, this hollow space, whatever that is present, in which the spinal cord is present, this is going to be your neural canal. Okay, so this is the neural canal, guys. Okay, so this is neural canal. Inside that, we have the spinal cord. And see, right in the center of the spinal cord, guys, there is this dot like thing, this red, I am showing it as red dot. Okay, red dot is not visible. Black dot. Now this black dot is nothing but your central canal, guys. Okay, so this is how it is really going to look like. Okay, is everybody okay with this thing? First of all, location of your spinal cord, where is it going to be present? Okay, also remember, guys, do not confuse spine with spinal cord. Okay, what we generally say is, guys, we have our spine at the back. Okay, that spine is nothing but it is your vertebral column. When you use the term spine, it is to denote vertebral column, guys. Okay, and inside the vertebral column, you are going to have the spinal cord. Okay, everybody all right with this? Okay, but now, guys, we need to see how is the spinal cord going to be like. Okay, and what are the different parts of the spinal cord? Like I said, guys, it is going to stop at your second lumbar vertebrae, and after the second lumbar vertebrae, only your nerves are going to continue forward. Okay, so we will see what is exactly going to happen out of there, but first, let's try to see your spinal cord. Okay. Okay, so now, guys, okay, 1 minute. Okay, so now, guys, when we talk about your spinal cord, okay, from the spinal cord, you are going to see spinal nerves rising. Okay, so basically, let's say this is once again your brain, you have the spinal cord like this. And now from the spinal cord, you are going to have all these nerves coming out. What are these nerves? These nerves are nothing but your spinal nerves. Okay, the ones which were coming from your brain, those were your cranial nerves. These are our spinal nerves, right? But now what happens? Let's try to see, guys. Okay, so once again, let's try to talk about your vertebral column. How is it going to be like? And you know, the number of bones in your vertebral column and the number of nerves coming from the different parts of the vertebral column. This is going to help us to understand the distribution. Okay, so guys, first of all, when we talk about your vertebral column is never going to be straight. So it is going to be crooked. It is going to show you some curves. So let's try to see how is it. So the first one, guys, you are going to see that the first curve is going to be slightly in the forward direction towards the face. Then this is going to give rise to the second curve, which is going to be on the backward side. Then third curve, basically it is going to be once again a little in the front. And this fourth one, it is going to be once again at the back side like this. Okay. And now guys, you are going to see here at the end, we are going to have the coccyx this way. Okay, so once again, if you remember guys, when we talked about this, so the first curve, this one, the one which is pointing forward, what is this guys? This is going to be your cervical region. Okay, this is the cervical region. The second one, which is going to be from the cervical region to this is going to be your thoracic region. The cervical, thoracic. Then we are going to have the next one up till here. This is going to be lumbar. What is lumbar? Lumbar is nothing but cumber. Okay. Then the next one, we are going to have the sacral. And last one, guys, this last fine one, this is going to be your coccygeal region or the coccyx. This way. Okay. But now, guys, we need to know how many bones are going to be present first. Okay. So number of bones. Okay. And these bones, we are going to talk about this. Okay, guys, first before maturity and after maturity. Okay, so initially before maturity, okay, when you are at birth, okay, so I will just mention this: at birth how many, and at maturity how many. Okay, so guys, at birth, how many cervical bones? 7, 12, 5, 5, 4. 7, 12, 5, 5, 4. Guys, if you do the maths of this thing, then what are we going to get? We are going to have in all 33 bones in your vertebral column. Okay, 7, 12, 5, 5, 4. But now at maturity, guys, what did I tell you? Some of the bones, they are going to fuse together. So now we are going to have 7, 12, 5, 1, 1. And now if you do the maths of this, guys, how much is this thing going to be? 26 bones. Okay, so guys, if we look at the bones at maturity, we are going to have 26 bones, 7, 12, 5, 1, 1. But now if we look at the nerves, okay, the nerves, they are going to come from these regions only: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, coccygeal. So if you look at the nerves, guys, now just see this thing. Okay, guys, very, very important thing. We are going to have 8 from the cervical region. 8, 12, 5, 5, 1. 8, 12, 5, 5, 1. Guys, when we talked about spinal nerves, how many spinal nerves did we say? We had said there were 31 pairs of spinal nerve and 12 pairs of cranial nerves. So here see 8, 12, 20, 20, 5, 5, 30 and 31. So guys, we are going to have 31 pairs of spinal nerves coming from the spinal cord. Everybody okay with this? Guys, always remember, you will confuse yourself between the number of bones in the cervical region and the number of nerves. Remember, number of bones, cervical bones, they remain 7. 7 is a characteristic of all the mammals. Even giraffe has 7 cervical vertebrae. Guys, it is a characteristic of all mammals. Okay, but see, number of nerves is 8. Okay, so you need to keep your eyes on this thing, guys. Okay, fine. But now, if we are talking about, the spinal cord, so spinal cord, is it going to run down the entire length? No, guys, if we are looking at the spinal cord, the spinal cord will run only up till the second lumbar vertebrae. Guys, the spinal cord will run only until here, and it is running through your vertebral column only. Okay, but I'm showing it to you separate out over here. Okay, so the spinal cord, this is going to end out over here. This is going to be second lumbar vertebrae. Okay, and after that, you're just going to see some nerves. Actually, I'll talk about it in a moment. Okay, so you're going to see it this way. Okay, so this is how it is going to be. Okay, but now let's just zoom into that part and let's try to see what really is going to happen in this case. Okay, so guys, when we talk about your spinal cord, okay, spinal cord, it is going to show you few things. Okay, so we said, okay, So the spinal cord is going to run down until your second lumbar vertebrae. Okay, and it is going to end out over here. Let's imagine. Chalo. So we have the second lumbar. Guys, but now on this thing, you are going to see two swellings. One, ye color nahi dikh raha hai. Okay. So you are going to see one swelling is going to be in the cervical region. Okay. So one swelling in the cervical region and the other one in your lumbar region, guys. Okay. So in the lumbar region. Okay. So there are these two swellings. Okay, but now, you know what, guys? After this, okay, after the lumbar, you are going to see that only the nerve-like things are going to come ahead. Okay, plus you will see that the spinal cord is going to end into a cone-like structure. Okay, so see, if you look at the spinal cord, this is going to be ending in a cone-like structure like this. So this cone-like structure, guys, we call this thing as Cornus Medullaris. Let me just zoom in out over here. So this is known as Cornus Medullaris. Okay, and this Cornus Medullaris, I told you later on it is going to give you this, nerves kind of thing. Guys, what is this? This is nothing but it is actually your extension of your pia mater. Guys, that is going to be like this. Okay, and what do we call this thing? We call this thing as Phylum Terminale. So after this, we have okay, Phylum Terminale. Okay, and guys, remember this thing. What is this? This is nothing but extension of pia mater. That is it. That is what we need to know with regards to the initial part of your spinal cord. But now, guys, when we talk about spinal cord, what are the functions? What is it really going to do? Okay, so let's try to zoom in onto the functions. Okay, so first of all, guys, your spinal cord is going to control all the reflexes below the brain, okay, below the neck region. Guys, why and why is it so? Because it needs to reduce the burden on the brain. So that is why this is going to be involved in controlling the reflex actions. Okay, so this is done with a view to reduce burden on the brain. Okay, fine. Second thing, guys. Okay, second thing, this is the one which is going to transfer impulses. But from where to where? It transfers impulses from the receptor to the brain. Receptor meaning it can be all the five senses. So from the receptor, it is going to send it to the brain. That is going to be your CNS. Okay, and same way, it is also going to transfer impulses, that is commands, from the brain to the effector. So that is also done. So it transfers impulses from the brain to the effector. Effector, it can be either your muscle or your gland. Okay, so only two effectors, either a muscle or a gland. Okay, that's it. This is what the function is. But now, guys, the next thing, we have to see the TS of your entire spinal cord. But before that, guys, just have a look at this thing. Just see if everybody is okay with this. If you have understood until this point, then we can slowly move into the TS. In TS, what are we going to see, guys? See, this top portion, what you can see, okay, I have cut it this way. We're going to zoom in into this top portion and we're going to see what exactly are the parts out over here. That is what the TS will be. Okay, all right, everyone, fine, sure, no issues, guys. Anybody wishes to ask anything from here, or can we move ahead? Okay, chalo. So let's try to move ahead, guys. Okay, now we are going to go into the TS. Okay, the TS of your spinal cord, meaning what? You're going to cut the spinal cord like this, and you are going to look at it from the top view like this. You're looking at it like this. Okay, so that is your TS. Okay, so now let's try to see how is this thing really going to be like. Okay, now guys, always remember when we talked about the protection that is provided to your brain, we said it is going to be the meninges. Those meninges, those are going to continue throughout the entire spinal cord as well. Okay, so always keep this thing in mind. Okay, but now let's try to see, guys, how is the TS really going to look like? Okay, fine. So first of all, you are going to have a situation something like this. Okay, so guys, this is how it is generally going to look like. Okay, this is the spinal cord, but as I told you, this spinal cord is also going to have the covering. So what are the coverings? We are going to have the meninges. So let's should see the meninges, guys. Okay, so okay, chalo, let's imagine these are our meninges. Okay, so guys, first of all, on the outer side, okay, so whatever that is there, these are nothing but our meninges. Okay, fine. Inside it is going to be your spinal cord. Okay, but now guys, once again, what did I tell you about the spinal cord? How is it going to be? Like, outside it is going to be your white matter. Inside it is going to be your gray matter. Okay, always remember this thing. So now you are going to see your gray matter something like this. Okay. Oh, it is. Okay, so see, this is how your अरे रे वाकड़ा तिकड़ा हो गया थोड़ा सा. Okay, sorry, थोड़ा सा वाकड़ा तिकड़ा हो गया. 1 minute. Ah, okay, now it is fine. Okay, so now guys, what is going to happen is you are going to see that this, the thing that we have drawn in the center, okay, the one that is in black, that is going to be your gray matter. Okay, and this is how it will appear. I'm just erasing of the meninges and the outlines. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is how generally it will appear, guys. Okay, now right in the center, I told you you are going to have the central canal. So the central canal is like this. Okay, now central canal, guys, also I told you this is going to be lined by your ependymal cells. Okay, so let me just slowly put down few things out over here. Okay, so I'm just mentioning this is our central canal. Okay, inside the central canal, guys, now we said what are we going to have? We are going to have your CSF. So let me just show you. Okay, this is CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, now once again, inside this, guys, we said this is your gray matter. Okay, always remember this is gray matter, and whatever that is outside, guys, this, all of this is going to be your white matter. Okay, so inside gray matter, outside white matter. Okay, fine. But now, guys, you know what? We are going to have some names out over here. Okay, so first of all, guys, we need to understand few things. Okay, so we have two names, one that is horn and one that is root. Okay, so always remember, okay, whenever we talk about your horn, okay, horn means that is what is going to be present inside, and outside meaning inside this thing. Okay, inside the spinal cord it is going to be horn, and when it leaves the spinal cord we call this thing as the root. Okay, then it becomes the dorsal root. Okay, I will talk about that. Okay, but now let's first talk about the white matter. See, I told you white matter, it is going to be on the outer side. So this is all white matter. Okay, but now this white matter also has names. Okay, so let's try to see what are the names given to this. Okay, and always remember white matter outside, gray matter inside. Okay, now what? Guys, see this side, basically, this side is actually your dorsal side. This is the back side. And this side is your ventral side. That is the front side. So dorsal and ventral. Now, guys, the first thing you will see is here on the dorsal side, there is a groove kind of a thing, right? But this groove is really small. It is very shallow. But if you look at this groove out over here, this is going to be really deep. So what are these grooves called? Let's try to see. Okay, so first thing, this groove, because it is on the back side, dorsal side, this is, oh, just a moment, guys, just a moment. Okay, so now guys, see this one which is on the back side, we call this thing as posterior median groove. This is posterior median groove, or you can also call this thing as fissure. Posterior medial fissure. One thing that is very important, guys, that this fissure, this is going to be shallow. Now, let's try to go on to this side, on the ventral side. So if this is posterior median groove, then this is going to be your anterior median groove. So posterior, anterior median groove, or anterior median fissure. Okay, whatever you like to call it, groove or fissure, the same thing. But now, what is important? This is going to be really, really deep. Okay, fine. Now, because this gray matter is present, it divides the white matter into several parts like this, right? So these parts also have some names. Let's try to see what are the names. So guys, the first one, this is on the dorsal side, right? This is on the dorsal side. So we call this thing as dorsal funiculi. Guys, see earlier we called colliculi. This funiculi, guys, folliculi is in your ovum. Okay, so don't forget that. Okay, so folliculi, liquor folliculi, if you remember that. Okay, in your Graafian follicle and during the formation, you see liquor folliculi. So this is funiculi, guys. Okay, so keep this thing in mind. Okay, this is funiculi, dorsal funiculi. Then we have this on the lateral side. So we call this thing as lateral funiculi. Dorsal funiculi, lateral funiculi. And now guys, this one, this becomes your ventral funiculi. That's it. This is what we need to know about the initial part of your spinal cord, guys. Okay, but now just like we have given names out over here, same way we have names for this entire gray matter as well, which we will see it in a while. Okay, so let me just have a look at this thing, guys, if everybody is okay with this. Posterior median groove or posterior median fissure. Okay, so now guys, let me just quickly pull this thing only. अरे ये क्या हो गया? 1 minute. Let me pull this diagram only, and let me just give you the names of that gray matter. Okay, so now guys, just because I did not want to spoil that entire diagram, and make it like really like ugly kind of thing, that is why. Okay, so now guys, let me just show you. Okay. Okay, so now, 1 minute. Just a moment, guys. Just give me a moment, please. Okay. Anyway, Hari, sorry. Okay. Anyways, so now guys, let's try to see how it is going to happen. See, I told you, we have two names out over here. One is your horn and one is your root. Now, guys, see the part which is going to be present, the part of the gray matter present in the white matter, we call it as the horn. So, guys, here, see this part, okay, this part which is present inside this thing, see, it is going to be present on the dorsal side, right? So, we call this part as dorsal horn. Oh, just a moment, guys. Okay, so guys, this one, because it is on the dorsal side, we call this thing as the dorsal horn. Okay, so this becomes dorsal horn. Okay, now same way, guys, see on the ventral side, see here also you're going to have this horn, right? So this becomes our ventral horn. So dorsal horn, ventral horn. Okay, but now guys, see, there is one more small projection out over here on the lateral side. So this lateral one, we call this thing as your lateral horn. Okay, so see, once again, guys, the part of the gray matter present inside the white matter, that is called as your horn. Okay, so dorsal horn, ventral horn, and lateral horn. But now these horns, guys, these are now going to come out and they are going to give rise to roots. Okay, so from here, guys, as they come out of the white matter, now they are going to give rise to root. Okay, so this portion, whatever I'm drawing in green, that is your root. Okay, so now because it is going to be on the dorsal side, what is this going to give rise to? It is going to give rise to your dorsal root. Okay, and here on the dorsal side, guys, we are going to see one ganglion, which is called as dorsal root ganglion. And now this, because it has come out, this is going to be ventral root. So dorsal root, ventral root. Now, guys, what happens to this? What is going to happen to these roots? See, we have said we are going to have your spinal nerves, right? How are the spinal nerves going to come? So what happens is this dorsal root, this is going to come like this. And this is ultimately going to meet out over here. Okay, it is going to meet out over here. Same way, this part is also going to come and it is going to meet out over here. But now, guys, when both these things, they meet together, what are they going to give rise to? They are going to give rise to your spinal nerve. This is going to ultimately unite and they are going to give rise to your spinal nerve, guys. This is how the spinal nerve arises. And guys, where is this all happening? This is all happening inside the vertebral column, because from the vertebral column, what are you going to see? You are going to see only and only the spinal nerve coming out. Okay, and whatever that is happening on the left hand side is exactly the same thing going to happen on the right hand side. So I have shown only the right hand side. Left hand side also remains exactly the same thing, guys. Okay, so if you look at this, this is your vertebral column or your vertebra. Okay, here this is your neural canal. Here, guys, there is going to be a small opening. We call this thing as vertebral foramen. Okay, through which only the spinal nerve is going to come out. Vertebral foramen. Okay, and finally, guys, what are we going to have? We are going to have the spinal nerve. And one more thing, like I told you guys, on the dorsal root, what are we going to see? On this dorsal root, guys, we are going to see that there is this bulging, bead-like structure out over here. This is actually your ganglion. Ganglion is what, guys? Once again, we have already said this is going to be a collection of your cytons, right? So this is going to be your dorsal root ganglion. Okay, this is dorsal root ganglion. Okay, so guys, this is what we need to know with regards to the entire TS of your spinal cord. And guys, you have to combine both these things. Okay, whenever you draw the diagram, you have to write down all the labelings into one. I have shown you two separate diagrams so that it becomes easier to understand which part is which part. Everybody okay with this thing? Okay, and just to show you guys, okay, I have also downloaded a few pictures, so that will give you a clear-cut idea what we are actually looking at. Okay, so guys, see. Okay, yeah, right. Okay. See, this is that entire picture that we are trying to draw, guys. Okay, the same thing. I will just show you one more picture. The same thing out over here, guys. Okay, everybody all right? Guys, getting this part? What is written after posterior median groove? Where in this? It is deep. The posterior median groove is deeper and the upper one is shallow. Okay, everybody all right, guys?